Hey everyone, Mike here. I want to give you a real quick tip on coloring your poppers with Sharpies and getting a gradation in there as if you had an expensive airbrush system. I do have a Copic system. I use it mostly because I bought it and wasn't even thinking about the possibilities with a can of compressed air. This is the same stuff that they use to clean off computer parts and things like that. It's got a little red nozzle, an extension nozzle. And the way you do that is you take just standard Sharpies, just like this. The colors I'm using are for like a frog color today, so I'm going to use the red for that attractor up in the mouth area of the popper, black for some spots. I'm also going to use some black fingernail polish to get a grunge look on the bottom of the popper, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a few minutes with a sponge. I'm going to use a dark green for the top, a light green for the sides of the popper, and a yellow for the belly. And I'm going to do that all airbrushing with a can of compressed air. So let's go ahead and get started on that. You can see I've got a popper here, one of these double barrel poppers. This is the large size. And I don't put the eyes in yet because you don't want to airbrush over top of the eyes. So to do this, it's really pretty simple. You just take a Sharpie, the color that you're wanting to use. Again, we're going to be using green for this particular coloring session here. And all you need to do is take that red nozzle and line it up to the tip of the brush in such a way that it's close enough to grab that coloring off of the marker and blow it right onto the popper. Now you'll have to do a little bit of playing around with it and experimenting. I've done it before, so I'm not really worried about making too many mistakes, although I could. So I'm going to do that green right there on the top, and I'm going to want to get it a little darker, so just go over it a little bit until you get the color that you want. It's always best to have the color go on very lightly throughout the whole process, and then then you just change it up to or you change it up. You just go ahead and just go lightly over top of it until you get the color, the depth of color that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and use this red Sharpie, and this is going to be done by, just by hand. And all I want to do is color the inside of the popper, and I'm just going to do that by running the red around the edges here. We want to stay inside the lines. Remember our kindergarten training with our markers and crayons and stuff like that. So, yeah. Let's stay inside the lines here. Now, one of the things I am going to do to get the, because I don't want red clear out on the, I don't want to get red clear out on the outside edge of the popper, because I don't want that to look like the lipstick on a $5 hooker. So let's go ahead and take the Sharpie on the outside edge, and on the top part here, go ahead and run the darker color, just like this. Run the darker color around. And then take your lighter color that you're going to use for the mid part of the body. And believe it or not, as you do this, you can actually pull some of that dark color down. See how that's doing that? You're pulling the dark color down, and you're bringing it right into into the lighter color. So you just bring it down. That way you get somewhat of a gradation as well, right up through here. And it's almost magical the way this stuff works. But it takes some practice. It does take practice. And then on the bottom, since the bottom is going to be yellow, don't worry if you get a little bit of red on it or something like that. It ain't going to hurt anything. And then just pull that green down into a solid yellow down there on the bottom. And then you're going to have something that looks like that. It looks pretty cool. and that's using Sharpies. That's using Sharpies to airbrush on the top. Now, to get the sides, I'm just going to turn the popper to its side, just like this, and use the same technique. Just use my lighter color of green and hit the side of the popper. You might want to go ahead and get it started with your. I got a little piece of white 2mm foam setting here that you use for your poppers. Just get a piece of foam because it puts a real nice control for overspray to keep it from getting all over your desk. And use it. And the reason why I like white is because I can see the distance that I need. The distance that I need between the tip of the nozzle extension and the actual tip of the Sharpie, because it does change. The further back you get, it gives a little bit more of a broader spray. The closer you get to the tip, a little bit more tight of a spray. And really, you want it kind of a medium, intermediate distance. And you'll run it in and out as you're spraying. When you run it in and out as you're spraying, and you got it on a piece of white, that'll give you the idea about how far back you want it. And then just bring it up and then use it to color in your popper, and then simply turn it around and flip the popper over and get the other side. It may not hurt to just go ahead and get it started on your white backdrop, and then just like that. Then we'll change up to yellow. Take the popper, flip it around to its belly, just like that. Make sure I have it in the camera here. And then take the yellow and color it up. Airbrushing with compressed air and Sharpies. You can do it. It will take some practice to get your, the techniques down to get a really good, even color all the way around. But trust me, it's more of a pleasing thing for the fisherman's eye than it is the fish. It's just fun to be able to color like this. Now, one of the things that I like to do to give it a little extra, design is on the back side of the popper on top. I will take a Sharpie, and on the front side up on top here, I'm going to make larger circles and bring them down to a point, because the double barrel popper has a line that goes down through it, which hence is the reason for a double barrel popper. You've got a popper on this side, a popper on that side. They're brought together as they're molded, or they're molded into one piece, but it looks like they were two poppers that have been squeezed together. And then I'll draw just a standard little circle up on top here on both sides. Try and get them as even as I can. Don't worry if they're not. It's no big deal. And then when I come down, as I come down, I'm going to want to come more towards the center and make smaller circles. So I come down and make another circle. Again, I want these second circles towards the tail to be a little smaller than the first. And then as I get back there, I can just pretty much use the point of the Sharpie just like that. Now, to get those spots on around, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to offset from where the existing holes spots are, just like that, and do it between them. And then that way you got yourself a nice pattern going down through there, and you'll do the same thing all the way through there, and then come around to the other side and do the same thing. Just kind of, and if you notice, I'm using one finger here to kind of hold my coloring finger more steady. I'm a little older than a lot of you guys, and then a lot of you guys are older than me, and by doing this, it gives you more control of your pen. So, and you don't need to have big spots up on top, up in the front. As you come down, they can be smaller spots. So you just kind of do that. And there's no real right or wrong way of doing this. It's just a way of doing it, and it's fun to do. It is absolutely fun to do. Now, one of the other things that I've done is I've got I went to the home center store and I bought me one of those real small 3-inch sponge rollers with a large nap to it. I mean, it's very spongy looking. And then I use this to put some black grunge, what I'm calling grunge, on to get the belly of my popper to have a little bit of design to it. And the way I do that is I use black fingernail polish, just like that, just standard old black fingernail polish. And then I have a piece of white foam that you can see I've used it a number of times, and I've practiced with my little sponge brush there, my little dabbing sponge brush, to get that grunge look going. So I'll take my standard fingernail polish, and the reason why I use this, if you try to use a Sharpie, the Sharpie dries almost as fast as you use it. This takes a little longer to dry, and then as I paint it over top of that black spot that I have on the foam, it does, and I put it on a little bit thick. It takes a few minutes for it to dry up, and because it's taking time to dry, and it does dry fast, and that's what we want. We want the paint to dry fast. So I'm going to use my my sponge and just pick up as much as that nail polish as I can, and then bring it around. Let me take this off here, so I hope I can show you a little bit better. Bring it around, and then I'm going to take it and roll it right on the bottom of my frog. And then, as you can see there, that gives a real awesome looking grunge look on the bottom. Very realistic. I mean, somewhat realistic anyway. I mean, technically it's just it's just a fun way of doing it. And if you need a little bit more polish, just reach down there and hit it. And actually, I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. I've never done this before, but actually what you also could do is kind of enhance the top too, and hit that as well. Just like that. And that's the way I color. Of course, I use Copic pens, but we just did it with Sharpies. Sharpies and a can of compressed air. That's a nice color. And this is really the first one that I've done. I just got to thinking about my Copic pen. All it is a little nozzle that shoots across the pen that throws the paint or the ink down onto the Sharpie, and then boom, you got yourself some coloring. Have fun with it. Just what you might want to do is get some white foam, some smaller stuff, and just practice with it. Just practice. Just cut up some small squares and practice, or actually maybe cut triangles. Let me real quick cut a piece here and show you what I'm talking about. If you take something like that right there, then you can actually practice on getting the the coloring of what you're wanting to do. And you can once you're done coloring that, you can lay it down, pick up another one, and then you can practice with the bottom side, just like that. Anyway, pretty cool. I got a lot more tips. Hopefully you guys will subscribe to my channel. I do have a lot more things that I'm wanting to share to make your own stuff and to hopefully save you some money. One of the other things I've done is I bought a pair of special pliers for crimping little split shots, and I've remade this tool into what I don't have one in front of me here, but what I do is with this tool here, I can put a hook in there, squeeze it down, and it will give that little raise in the hook to use for poppers to keep them from spinning around, to keep the foam from spinning on your hook. Anyway, this is one tip. I hope this helped you out. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. Feel free to contact me on Facebook. Make a connection there. I do have Instagram. It's all pretty new. I've got other channels where I've got millions of views and you know, thousands of subscribers, but I'm just now getting into the fly fishing thing. Even though I've been fly fishing since I was 9 years old, I want to bring everything that I've done over the years, bring it out, bring it to you, and hopefully save you some money and have some fun. And more importantly, catch fish on what you tie. This is Mike. Until the next video, we'll catch you later.